Of Bemidji State, what can an exhibition game like that, I guess a team like that, do for you going into this opener?
Well, I think it can kind of show early on where you're at, with your group and see, I think one thing we did know is, we've got huge compete level. Looked at our first period, I thought we came out pretty hard and, had the majority of the chances of shots. And then obviously the game kind of got 50-50 there towards the second and third period where it went back and forth. But, I really liked our compete level, and our execution has to get better, obviously, and I think that will. Normally having 14 new guys in the lineup and kind of guys getting to know each other as far as lines, as far as power play. I think that'll come.
What have you seen as far as Niagara goes? Kind of what do you guys expect?
Yeah, just watching some video on them. They played Canisius in an exhibition game, and we got some video of that where they play hard. They play extremely hard away from the puck, and they don't give up a lot of goals. They play very good defense, and I even went back to their games last year where they beat Robert Morris in a 2-game series, and then they played AIC, which eventually, we played in the national tournament, and all were 1-goal games, low-scoring games, and so they check really hard. They try to create opportunities off of that, and we got to know that it's going to be probably a pretty similar game to Bemidji.
Driscoll and Nat, what do you think about the way that he played on Saturday?
Well, you could tell he's experienced, right? You could tell, we left him out to dry a little bit on some of the opportunities. And again, like I said, the first period, I think we did a pretty good job in the first 15 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the first period, we gave some pretty good opportunities to Bemidji, and those were ones where, he had to shut the door and make a save. And anytime you have a goaltender that can give you a chance to win games, that's a good sign. And again, knowing that we have a new group together, it's kind of reassuring to have a guy with a little bit of experience back there.
Brad, on that subject, how long does it take for him and your D-men to form communication? Because there was a few times that your guys, your D didn't know what he was going to do, he didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that comes with, I guess reps. It comes with, communication's a big thing, and making sure that everybody's on the same page of, what those breakouts look like with pressure or without pressure. And, we've got we had a number of new guys in our lineup on the back end, and a new goaltender too. So that'll come too, and it's something that we take pride in, is breaking pucks out of our end of the rink and making sure that everybody's communicating on the same page. Absolutely.
With the group, this new and this fresh, kind of how important is this first 2-game series?
Oh, it's very important. Again, your way to the NCAA tournament, and again, we're really a team that has short-term focus of just focusing on each weekend on how we have to win both games. But it boils down to taking care of Friday night and then eventually Saturday. But, when you look at the non-conference schedule, we have 10 non-conference games and then the Hall of Fame game. So we have 11 games, and you need to win those games in order to elevate yourself in the national tournament. And I think we have such a hard, heavy NCHC league that, we've done pretty well in the last few years of being in the top of the standings there. But we have to have that focus like we have in the NCHC of trying to win games in the non-conference schedule. If you look at our non-conference schedule, and we're not going past Niagara, but if you look at it, it's a grind. It's top-level teams, high-ranked teams that we're playing against, but we got to make sure we take care of business again this weekend, and it's no further focus than Friday night.
Speaking of the newness of the team, how important is it that you get to open up at home? That way everyone just sort of gets to feel comfortable there.
Yeah, I think that's, like last year we went to the pod, and I thought that was good in the fact that, we bonded together in a hotel and in a rink where we played 10 games in a short amount of time. Well, it's going to be vastly different now that, we're going to be playing the majority of our games in October at home here, a couple on the road, but it's a situation here where, it gives us more time to, with a new group to drill down on the details in practice versus last year in a pod where there wasn't much practice time once you got there. So again, like I said, it's good that in the fact that we were spending a lot of time at home here where we can spend a lot of time and try to work together as a team on what we need to do.
Brad, you had 4 guys out last weekend. Any chance any of those guys could be available this weekend?
Absolutely. The only, and again, I'm going to be transparent with you here, the only guy that will not be available will be Brendan Booty. There's a couple guys that went through practice this week that looks good as far as being available this weekend, but the only guy that will not be available is Brendan Booty.
Also, when you look at a guy like Ashton Collier, a guy who scores a lot of goals, and even forward, how do you guys put those guys into a power play together? Like, do you look what they did last year, what kind of spots you put them in, or how do you
Yeah.
guys try to?
Yeah, we a little bit of both, and I think what we do is look at the spots that they were in last year that had success, but also kind of mesh it together with what we have here, as far as power play players, and then build some chemistry. I really like the way in the last game, Calder, that unit, Calder and Ford, and Judd Caulfield up front, Jake Sanderson, those guys. Reese Gaber, those guys did a really good job of moving pucks around, scored a power play goal. We didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. I think we had 3 opportunities, but they did a really good job. And then we worked on it quite a bit in practice this week, and they look pretty sharp too. The other unit, we're going to build some chemistry together with other guys there going forward, but I think it's a situation of trying to accentuate what guys bring to the table. Like Ashton Calder has a great shot. We have him on the flank there to be a threat as far as a one-time threat, but having guys in situations where they can flourish.
All right, we'll turn to questions on Zoom. So Nick, go ahead with the question.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Sanderson and Gabe are both scoring. How big is that for the team to have them already being scoring?
Yeah, it's key. We have 13 returners, and we have some very, very good players. Those you mentioned right at the top of our list there. And any time that you got a new group coming together and playing an exhibition game and starting your season, it's nice having those guys hit the score sheet right away. And they're going to be counted upon in a lot of different situations. And I think it's a situation too of having our transfers and our freshmen just kind of seeing kind of how we play and the pace we play with, and the intensity we play with and without the puck.
Jake, you have a question?
Yeah, hey Brad, Jake here. Say, this year, it's totally different with, like you say, 14 new guys coming in, but with some of those being, veteran players playing way different systems from Bowling Green to RPI to Alaska. Limited time available for you as coaches to work on that. What has this week meant of being able to finally dive in?
Yeah, you know what? We get to practice longer now, right? Like just like you mentioned, we were limited on the time we can spend on the ice with our guys. But what it does do, it allows us to take our time and kind of drill down on the things that we needed to work on, what we saw, throughout the exhibition game here, and not only on the ice but in video sessions. We can now do a little bit longer video sessions with our team, with individuals, with our forward group, our D group, situations where we can really drill down on the details and habits of how we want to play. And you're right, like I said, there's a lot of questions that go on as far as other guys coming from other programs, but we feel that we got really, good character guys that are hard workers, that are very smart, that it won't take long for them to pick up.
And one last one for me. It's the 20th anniversary weekend of Ralph Ingolstadt Arena. Do you have a favorite moment, game, goal in this building?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. The Penrose, I think, when we beat Western Michigan just most recently a couple of years ago, Shane Pinto scoring the game winner was really good. But I would have to say probably opening night of the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena with jam-packed house. The Gophers are in town. It was a pretty special night knowing that blessed to have this great facility here and having the outpouring of fans. When you talk about the fan support, us coming through the COVID year, having limited capacity last year, and then finally, playing an exhibition game against Bemidji and jamming this place in our first game, that's special. And I think it's the fans and what they do for us here to have home ice advantage.